devil. I love being black. Come on in, come on in. I promise you today, we're going to look over some things from the election. And I'm gonna have a couple of people on tonight and going to be talking. Mama Doris, she's gonna be my guest tonight. Dr. Pamela Long, she's coming in tonight. Maybe a couple other people call in, and I want you guys to just come on in. We're going to talk about the election. What could we have done to get our dear sister in the Senate? That's what I want to talk about tonight. And one thing I want to remind of all of us tonight that there's one system and two parties. That's one we don't want to forget that. When we're talking about one system and there's two parties. And that one system that I'm talking about is racism, white supremacy. So I want to talk about that. And if we're going to support one another, especially those that look like us. Now, I got a special love for black people, no matter if you're Democrat or Republican. And I still hold and I still believe, and this is just my opinion, that we should be on both sides of the aisle. So no one should be able to determine the way black people should be able to vote. Like, well, because, hey, we've down history, we know that many black people vote Democrat, and especially we've been doing that in the state of Illinois, especially in Chicago. And even me, my mama told me to vote blue, 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 blue. And I'm not a Republican. I wouldn't say I'm not a Republican, but I have voted Republican, and I'm voting for my best interest, what I think is best for my people. And that's what I am. I'm a firm believer in black people, and I believe that we could be great, and we are great. And I want to thank Dr. Pamela Long for coming on my show during the election. She came and I introduced her to my people, and they loved her. When I said my people, the people that follow me. And actually, I met her through Mama Doris. And I was kind of low, I said, I don't know Mama Doris, but I brought on, I was so surprised. I was amazed at a sister of boldness. See, one thing I learned about being black in this life, these 57 years that I've been on earth, that white people they don't respect a coward. They don't respect people that get along, go along, and laugh and goo, but they respect a warrior. And I consider Dr. Long a warrior. Dr. Pamela Long a warrior. A warrior. And I'm looking like, where did this sister come from? Who is she? Who is she? It's just like she just popped out of nowhere to me. Now, no knock on no other candidates, but Pam, she stuck out to me, and she had my full support. It wasn't about no money. It was about pushing the agenda that she had for black people. Now, I realize that a lot of us was born and raised to be Democrats, and I understand that. But the truth is the truth, period. I am so upset at us just voting just because it's blue and we're not getting anything out of it. When are we going to start getting some results? And that's what I'm talking about. And I got a special guest today, and I think Pam should be joining us. And we're going to be talking about what are some of the things that we could have done to push the agenda that Pam brought to us on this platform. Mama Doris, I just want you to just tell us, how did you came about with Dr. Pamela Denise Long? How did you meet her? Let's talk about it.
Well, I first met her. I want to say good evening to the family first. I first met her when she interviewed me with Numbers. She was with Numbers USA. And Numbers USA was very heavily, and they still are, involved in immigration, illegal immigration. And I met another brother that Dr. Long is familiar with. He lives in Virginia. And so I met them as a result of me protesting over at the promontory point when Desmond Yancey had a meeting over there talking about the immigrants, illegal immigrants. And I went to that meeting for the purpose of doing two things: interrupt and disrupt. And I did that. My position was that do not bring them into our communities. Do not spend the kind of money that they were spending on bringing illegal immigrants here at the expense of the American people, at the expense of Chicagoans, and particularly Black Americans in this city who are really at the bottom and catching hell, our veterans. And so with all of these people encountering some of the issues and problems that they're having because the city is not taking care of them, I was adamantly opposed to the bringing of the illegal immigrants in here. And so after I appeared at that venue, I had Fox TV, NBC, and others to call me. And then someone from Numbers USA got in touch with me, and Pam was one of the people who interviewed me about my position on immigration. That is how I got to know her. And then the next time I was with her, we were over here at Metzler's Hotel. And I was impressed with her when I met her with Numbers USA, because my position is this is a very, very intelligent woman. Now, I had no knowledge of her thinking about running for the U.S. Senate from the state of Illinois. So a few months later, I met her over here at Metzler Hotel. Me and Zoe, we met her over there, and we had a long discussion with her about her running for the U.S. Senate seat. And she explained to us what her platform would be, what she would be pushing. And but what impressed me the most was her intelligence and her knowledge about policies and about legislations. And anyone who's heard me on your show, even you, that's all I talk about is policies and different legislations. And this woman is so versed and so knowledgeable about those areas and the Constitution and the 14th, the 13th, 14th, 15th Amendments, the birthright. And I was just blown away. I was blown away because that was the first time in almost 50 years that I had heard anyone speak so intelligently. And so I committed myself to working with her. And she came here, she did some campaigning. We went to called the Flaggers event, and we went to some other places, once she announced that she would be running and getting signatures to get on the ballot. So we were all over the city. I was all over the city, and other people working with her. And so that is how I first met her. And so when she announced that she was running for Senate, and I was involved with Chicago Flips Red. And I saw Chicago Flips Red because of what their concept and their agenda was at the time. I saw Chicago Flips Red as being an ideal organization to do what we wanted to do. We wanted to flip Chicago red, we wanted to flip the state red, and we wanted a Republican. And as you know, I came on your show telling everybody, let's vote Republican. Let's give it a try, because we're not getting anything from the Democrats. So I was committed, and when I get involved, I commit myself. I'm very passionate. Zoe and I talked about it, so I thought we were on the same page, and so I went for it. And it was, to me, a good way to push Chicago Flips Red. I love what they were doing. They've done some amazing work. And so the political part was just perfect to me. And so I was into it. And so I thought Zoe was on the same track. But as it turned out later on, I became very upset when I learned that she had endorsed another person, just this Jeannie woman, over Dr. Long, and I asked her, how how could you endorse Dr. Long over this woman who is much more qualified? She brought to us a plan, a lineage-based investment plan. She wrote a piece pertaining to property taxes and what she was going to do once she got elected. She was going to hit the ground running. So it was perfect. It was perfect. And again, she was best qualified. So when I learned that when I learned that she had invited endorsed this Jeannie woman, I was very upset, very dissatisfied, still upset, still very dissatisfied, because we had an opportunity to get around this sister and to get Black folks to vote red in Chicago. That was going to be a monumental task because we've always been voting Democrats. So what perfect person, what better person to try to get our people to get away from that Democratic Party and vote for someone who's got some tangibles, who's presenting tangibles to us that she's going to do for us and the American people, America first. I was sold on it. So to find out that they were going in a different direction, it just really hurt me. It really upset me. And I said, okay, then you've sold out. Now, sold out doesn't necessarily mean money, because I don't know if they got any money. I'm not concerned about that. But
Okay.
to me, it was sellout. So that's how I got to know Dr. Long, and I've been working very hard. I worked very hard to try to get her in.
Okay. Let me just say something. Let's get some clarity going here. Um, I talked to Jessica a lot. Jessica, I consider Jessica as my friend. We talk all the time. She bawled me out when I get off track or whatever, and it's cool. It's cool. But Jessica told me herself in her own words that she did endorse Dr. Long. Jessica told me she did. So I'm
Oh, Jessica did. Yes, she did.
okay.
Yes,
So
she did.
so are
She
we
did.
talking
Yeah,
about also I want to get something clarified here because I don't want to, no wrong. Once we put this information out, we can't take it back. Are
right.
we talking about Zoe or the Chicago Flip
I,
Red organization? Which one we talking? Are we
I am
separate?
talking about my relationship with Zoe
Okay,
and the
okay,
conversation that
okay,
I had with Zoe and
okay,
the commitment that I thought she had in terms of supporting Dr. Long. I'm
okay.
only talking about my
Oh, okay,
relationship with Zoe and our conversation. It does not involve anyone else. And that's why I was so disappointed, because of what we talked about. She was all for her. She acknowledged that she's the best candidate, the best candidate out of all of them, Democrats or Republican. So I'm only talking about my relationship and the conversation Zoe and I have. No one else. No one else.
okay, okay. All right. My friend Jessica said, "Don't bring me into Jessica. I'm not bringing you into that. I just want to just keep some clarity. That's all, because this is a sensitive matter, and since we're going this way. I just want to bring it up. You have nothing to do with this, Jessica. So my apologies. I just want to get something clear. Okay. Just
Look,
want to
they
get
have done an amazing job.
yes.
They have done a phenomenal job in terms of bringing attention to the Black community, Chicago at large, about what is going on down there at City Hall. I applaud them 1,000%. Would never take anything away from them. I am just talking about my conversation with Zoe and the
Okay.
impression that I got in terms of us supporting her and just going all out to try to get her elected.
Okay. Well, let me say, I want to put it out in air. I have a relationship with you guys, the Flip Red, all you guys. You guys have come in on my program, show me love, and I let you guys speak freely on here. I don't never put a muzzle on. No, you can't say that on here. No,
Mhm.
I'm very transparent. You know, one thing, I love Black people, and everybody know, they know me. I'm race first. before anything. And, you know, a lot of people have gotten on me for voting for color, in which I have been guilty because a person is black and I vote for him because I have been guilty. Now, when I interviewed Dr. Pamela Long, I was stung. I'm gonna say this is me talking. This is Martin Johnson talking. And I said, man, this woman, where did this woman come from? I mean, she can answer every question fluently, articulate, smart, been around. And I said, this woman is unbelievable. You know, that's just me. It's my thought. So I'm not a Republican. I don't really consider myself a Democrat anymore anyway. But my thing is, personally, I like Pamela. You know, that's why I shared her literature on my page. It wasn't about no money or anything, but I just want to uh, express that. And I want to, before we go any further, let's pull up some charts about how she did in the election. I want to do that. Let me do, okay, Mama Dora, is that cool? I want
Sure,
to,
go ahead.
okay,
Yeah, sure,
because
absolutely.
I want to pull up something about her because I want to, you know, because, you know, once you, sometime when you see people, they don't, after the election, if they lose, you don't hear nothing from them or anything. And, you know, let me see if I can zoom this up a little bit. Okay, hold on. Let me zoom this up. Hold on. Okay, hold on. We got a caller. Hold on. I think this is Doctor. Hold on. Hey, Doc, hold on 1 second, okay?
All right.
Bring you in. Okay. Okay. Hold on. Okay, I got Doctor in there. All right. Hold on. Before we can you guys hear me? Mama Doris?
Oh, I can hear you, yes.
Okay. Doc, can you hear me? Doctor?
Yes,
Okay.
clearly.
All right. Before we get to talking, I want to look at some of your election results that happened. I want to look at it and talk about it a little bit. And I'm trying to bring it up a little. I want to get it up. If I can see it. Bring it up a little. It's the screen. It's just, let's see, bring the screen up a little bit. Bring up, because see, look at your numbers. And okay. Well, I just got it up on the screen. I'll work it while you're talking. Okay, what I want to say, this is what Martin Johnson want to say about this. I realized that she wasn't sponsored by a major network or anything for as money. It was like a self-finance in a sense. And I see that I'm noticing 10% of the vote, 53,000. And Doc, could you explain that where most of your votes come from? Could you do that for me?
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, sure. So we got a bit over 53,000 votes. Context for that is I came in third at about 64 of the counties in the state after the two establishment-backed candidates. So one gave himself $2 million and had been around for a while. And he's the one who ultimately won. He's the one who was also asked to step down from leadership of the Illinois GOP. Then the second lady was put in by Tom DeVore, who's good friends with the current Republican gubernatorial governor candidate and lieutenant governor candidate. Specifically, that person, Tom DeVore, spent months talking about me because I have been an advocate for reparations and because I believe that every American has a First Amendment right to hold the government accountable for wrongdoing, harms that happen, negligence that happen, and the like. And certainly Black Americans are no exception to the Constitution, right? That's part of why we had the Civil War. But that lady was put in by those people specifically because I have championed reparations. And they spent months online telling Republicans, don't sign my petition to get on the ballot, though Tom DeVore did, though I collected 6,200 signatures to get on the ballot and turned in, a number that I felt comfortable with out of that. So she was backed by the establishment, and the establishment specifically that was angry that I had been a champion of reparations. Now, the numbers that I got behind those two establishment people who ended up from a fundraising perspective, both rich, wealthy people, self-funded, got on the ABC7 debate because of the timeline for cutting off. And then they ended up getting a lot of free media as a result of getting on that debate because of fundraising alone. I polled better than the Polish guy who came in, who was on the third person on that debate, right? I actually qualified for the debate from a fundraising perspective that happened in Peoria, that was televised in Peoria. And a lot of people saw that and they said the same thing, that you won the debate, your policies made the most sense, you're the strongest candidate, you're the person who could win against Democrats who are very polished, very strong in their talking points, blah, 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 right? So everybody in front of me in those outcomes are, except for the establishment-backed lady, they'd run before, they were known, like the two men, the Polish guy and the Italian guy, I think have run like a couple or 3 times, so they're known factors. So that I got 53,000 votes with people that have more name recognition is actually an astounding feat for a grassroots candidate who really, my fundraising came from me doing some self-funding, but I got plenty of donations from other people who listened to me or who would hear me as I was going around the state, 102 counties. I didn't go to all 102, but they heard me on the radio. They heard my interviews, my TV interviews, and all of that kind of stuff. They did donate to my campaign. People around the country donated to my campaign. So that's the general context. And like I said, I came in third in 64 or thereabouts counties of the 102. When you look at the polling results, you'll see that I came in third for that. There are people who found out about my campaign since the election, because we have 13 million people in Illinois who are like, I can't believe you weren't the one chosen. I looked at your website and I compared you to the other people, blah, blah, blah. And the other thing about that, when people talk about Chicago, the fact that I didn't get that free media that those other 3 people got made a huge difference, right? We filed an FCC complaint against NBC5/7 for doing a focus only on those 3, when the reality is that I also qualified for a debate based on fundraising and polling, and the Evans girl didn't. So they should have actually included me, right, in that, because I did qualify for a debate based on fundraising, but they didn't. So that's really a big factor in that. The other factor in that is, and I think that's the biggest factor, is name recognition, and people on ABC7 like 3 times a week, or Face the Nation, which they put them on as well, will obviously have more name recognition, all orchestrated, all establishment backed recognition. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say about that at the moment.
Okay. Okay. Now, I'm an outsider looking in. I will say this. To me, with looking at these numbers, I'm not a political person. Now, I know a little bit, not a whole lot. I know you're a professional. You've done articles and different things, studies and stuff like that. And we all have our right to choose to vote for each other. We should. You know, and I felt, this is the question I want to ask you. Now, I was talking to Mama Doris, and she was telling me how, is it the word lineage or something that you use instead of reparations, or something? It's like the wording that you use about Black people getting reparations. Yeah, explain that to me.
Yeah, no, so yeah, sure. So it's not a synonym at all. It's not reparations. And I've said that numerous times. It's not reparations. I wasn't running on reparations. I've written about reparations. I've framed up reparations. I've framed up a relaunch of the Freedmen's Bureau, as well as the integration between the Freedmen's Bureau federal and the Freedmen's Bureau at the state level, right? State level affairs for Black Americans, and how important it was for any lineage-specific identity markers and programs to go through some kind of efficiency, effectiveness organization to make sure we don't have more $5 Indians, like that people, lapping into it. I wrote out a very comprehensive program about that. I developed it, where I was talking about people having a consequence for penalty of perjury if they say they are a legacy Black American, foundational Black American, ADOS, whatever you want to call it. All of those monikers is what I advocated with Biden's Office of Management and Budget for the census is that every moniker that we, the descendants of the founding Black population, have gone by need to belong to us exclusively. And it needs to be clarified as such in the census as well as any other federal data collection. So the lineage-based investment that I was offering was not a synonym for reparations. What I was suggesting is that we redirect half of minority spending toward the people it was supposed to go to. So currently, we spend $8.2 billion every year towards so-called minorities. And basically, a minority is anybody that's not a straight white Christian male. So a man who thinks he's a woman can compete with women, right? Under Trump, not so much, but under Biden, yes. A Chinese man can fly over here and be a minority and compete with legacy Black Americans for business development grants and minority spending. A gay white man is a minority all of a sudden, all of that. A woman, right? A white woman is a minority as well. So I was saying we go back to originalism, because those 1960s funds were designed for the descendants of the founding Black population who endured slavery and then endured 100 years of Jim Crow once Lincoln was murdered and they sabotaged Reconstruction, right? So that's what the lineage-based investment is a return to original intent of minority spending by redirecting half of minority spending back to the originally intended recipients, which is descendants of the founding Black population. And I wasn't coding that as reparations. I was coding it as originalism, because it is, and also fiscally conservative. If we stop funding all the so-called minorities who can fly over here and actually do what the funds were intended to do, we could actually change significant outcomes in the family tree for Black Americans which is what those funds were originally intended to do in the first place. Based on economic projections, the United States could have saved $24 trillion in 40 to 50 years in the variety of programs and subsidies and economic bumps that what I was proffering would have accomplished. And so that is what I was offering, both as a fiscally conservative and patriotic Americans First program, in my understanding that, and this is important, that Black Americans said no tangibles, no vote, right? And so I was offering something specifically to Black Americans that I would fight for and had already educated some elected officials about before I even decided to run for office. And so that's what that program was designed to do. And it's important to note that when people actually listened and didn't think it was reparations, white people, Republicans in particular, they were like, oh, what you're saying makes sense. Of course you guys were the ones who should have gotten that in the first place. And yes, you're right. Anyone can come over here, including a descendant of a slave trader, code as Black, and compete with you for what the nation saw fit to give to legacy Black Americans as a way of correcting the deprivations, to give you a leg up and a hand up and all that. And so 8 out of 10 conservative Republicans agreed with it. Of course, there were people who insisted on framing it as reparations when it was not reparations. It was simply making sure that this program that was supposed to go to this lineage of people actually gets delivered to them, and that we drive outcomes through a number of mechanisms that I know from being in business, human resources, organizational development, that are unique, and no one has talked about those things in the way that I did.
Now, as I was talking to Mama Dora, she was saying that out of all of the candidates that she's heard that's running for that position, that ran, didn't no one have a Black agenda? Nothing, didn't even have anything. And is that true? Is that true? I'm asking you, Doc.
No, it's 100% true. The reason these folks went up against me, the same people who getting ready to tell you to come vote for Republicans down the ballot and talk to them about policy later, it's a problem, because as I understand it, the Black American community said, we're not voting for people who haven't made specific promises and policy for us or adopted our agenda, right? That's what it moved to, is we're going to bring you an agenda and we want you to adopt it. We're not going to ask you to figure it out. We're not going to vote you in and then talk to you about policy. We want you to come to the table with something and or ready to adopt our agenda. I came with a specific agenda item that was appropriate. It was tangible. It was doable in the way it was structured. It was outlined and specific about who and which parts of government would do what. It was specific about the impact that it would achieve and the ways in which it would safeguard resources and its delivery specifically to legacy Black Americans, FBA, ADOS, and all of that. And I want to just make it clear, I'm a 7th plus generation American. I can tie my ancestry back on both sides of my family to pre-1900, and I can tie my ancestry back to two parents born in Virginia in the early 1800s to late 1700s. So I'm a legacy Black American, point blank, period. I am a descendant of the founding Black population, and what happens to our community matters to me. And I listen. Not only do I listen, but I've been actively involved. I've been actively involved in our advocacy over the years, which is why these people put that woman up to run against me, because they wanted to make sure they split the vote, and they want to set her up for a run in 2028 for Duckworth's seat when she fumbled over her words most of the time. I even heard some of my stuff coming out of her mouth and all of that. So you really expect that the best friend of the guy who was angry with me about reparations and advocating for a lineage-based investment is suddenly going to come around and do something specific for the same people that they sabotaged my campaign when I was advocating for, when this same person was saying, well, Denise was advocating for reparations and I just don't know that, Yeah, so what? Like, you expect this person to do something for you when he's been actively talking against me because I was advocating for you.
Mm.
And Martin, may I say something?
Yes.
And can I say one more thing, Ms. Doris? Can I say one more thing before you say that?
Sure, yeah,
the
go ahead.
53,000 people who voted for me were from all across Illinois, all across the counties, right? There was a lot of white support for my candidacy. And there were a lot of white people in those last hours before people voted actively going out and spinning a narrative that I supported reparations specifically. These folks don't mean you any good. They're going to try to get your vote for nothing. We said, and I've been in it for years, right? We said, you need to come with an agenda for us and or ready to adopt our agenda before we vote for you. And what I see is people telling you to vote red down the ballot when those people have sabotaged a candidate who was running specifically all Americans first for every Illinoisan, but a specific carve out for our population. And I've been in this advocacy for a very long time. So it's not just about me. What I'm looking at is people saying that they weren't supportive and they sabotaged and they talked against and telling people not to vote for me, not to sign my petition because I was advocating for you. So why would those same people come on board to do anything for you? I had white support who wasn't falling for that across the state, but the people who they're trying to get you to vote for, the people available to you now, have even gotten up and walked out of dinners with Black folks when they asked if that person supported reparations and the person said yes, and they got up and left. But they want you to vote for these people now? That just doesn't feel that, and that's the bigger issue for me, right? It feels like our people are being misled from Democrats riding your vote and then sending you away with nothing to Republicans riding your vote and sending you away with nothing. And that is simply wrong to me.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Ms. Doris.
Go ahead, Ms. Doris.
And because of everything she has said, that is why I thought Chicago Flips Red, which was coined by Zoe, was the perfect organization to push this candidacy. And also it went along with their philosophy in terms of what they wanted to do. And that is to turn Chicago Flips Red in the state. And my position was that she was the perfect candidate. And I wanted to advance beyond what they have done, because they have done a lot of work. So I was very passionate about it, and I got involved, and I assumed and I thought that we were on the same page. It would have been perfect because they have been doing the work. And I have been saying, we're not going to vote for Democrats who are not going to offer us anything. And we should not go to the Republicans without demanding something from them. And you know, I said on your show, let's give it a chance. And I was begging and pleading with Black people, let's do something different. And I was out there working. She worked hard. Pamela, 3.5 hours from Chicago, but she came here. And when she could not make it, I went to represent us. And what I also learned is that it was not necessarily about money. It was about numbers. And I saw Chicago as having those numbers, and we could have put her, we could have put her over the hump. I still firmly believe that. And again, we talk, well, not voting for someone just because they're Black. I've made it very clear that I'm not voting for someone just because they're Black. But this is a very intelligent, knowledgeable woman about the issues, about politics, about everything. There's not a question you can ask her that she does not answer. When you hear her talk, you really don't have any questions afterwards. And that is why I was pushing her so hard and wanted Chicago Flips Red to get behind her, because this is what I had discussed with Zoe. And so I just thought we were on the same page, and I will not say to my people to vote for any party or anyone who does not bring some tangibles for us, because we have been losing, and it's time for us to lose, because we have what is necessary for us to win. And we should not be giving anybody anything without them giving us some tangibles.
Can I say this as well? This to me is not, this to me is bigger than the idea of me being endorsed. Yes, Zoe and them made it clear that I am their senatorial candidate. I share with them some of my original writings, including my writing about the relaunch of the Freedmen's Bureau. I originally wrote that years ago, sitting at my dining room table, when a person I know in Chicago had been complaining about some things with inequities and the like. And I wrote an equity ordinance and used my language, my original concepts about efficiency, effectiveness, relaunching the Freedmen's Bureau. These things have been documented on my page and in my materials for at least 4 years now. I shared that with them. I also shared with them my lineage-based investment plan and the processes that I put in there of using my organizational development, healthcare, educational lens to build out a program that could withstand time, that would be efficient and effective, that would be, fiscally responsible, right? That wouldn't waste money, that would look for impacts and all that, wouldn't lean into the not-for-profit industrial complex where, money goes to the not-for-profit and it pays for people's salaries, but the people who really need the investment don't ever get it. Like, there was a lot that I put into that. So I shared those two things with them. And then within like a week, everything switched up. And I, and they sent me a document where, Danny was saying she wanted to run for mayor, and they asked me to look at her platform. So I did. I looked at the writings that they sent me and made some suggestions, a few suggestions about that, and then sent over the things that I sent them that I'm going to be running on. Because the idea, based on what they told me, is you're our Senate candidate. And then, they sent me the endorsement Google form. I completed all of that and everything. And then the energy just felt really weird. She was really terse, really short. And I noticed that they had this guy on there that had been going around the state. He was running for Senate at the time, but he got kicked off the ballot. His name is Goodman. They had him on the podcast, and I listened to it after the fact. And I noticed they never asked him about reparations, which I thought was fascinating, because they said that if you ain't a candidate running on reparations, we don't want to talk to you, right? And that was my conversation with them, including my interview, was all about, do you support reparations? Do you support reparations? Do you support reparations, right? And then with him, it was never mentioned. And he had been going around telling voters and leaders in the party, well, Denise has spoken out for reparations, so it's a non-starter, quote unquote, non-starter. So how does this guy, who has been going around talking about you can't vote for Denise because she's for reparations, on a show with people who said that if you ain't for reparations, we ain't down. And then he never gets asked about reparations. That was confusing to me. Plus some of his other platform stuff I found kind of odd. But the bigger thing was like, you said that you were about a thing, but I'm seeing that you're terse with me, short with me, and you're giving this guy a pass. And I'm not stupid. I have good pattern recognition. So I'm wondering what's going on. I found out that some troublesome people from the internet, from Twitter, had been meddling around, very problematic people that folks tend to not want to mess with because they're highly problematic, got their hands up in the mix, right? And then it just became super, I don't know, distant and different. Yeah. And so then I just started moving forward because I'm running a campaign. I'm running a serious campaign. I am traveling. I've traveled 60,000 miles since May of 2025, connecting all across the state from the border of Wisconsin down to the Ohio River and everywhere in between with voters. I'm trying to actually be able to win this office. And so, no, I could not drive. I was never invited to a CFR event that I didn't make it to just flippantly. The one event that I said I think I can come to this was a press release they were going to have on September 11th because I was coming up for a Blexit event, the Blexit being Charlie Kirk's organization. Well, Charlie Kirk was murdered on September 10th. So obviously the September 11th event was actually canceled, and I didn't drive up just for 4 hours just for the press release. Plus, it was a lot to deal with and a lot thinking about what could happen to people who speak out bravely when it comes to politics. It was really actually a scary time. So yeah, that's the only thing that I can remember that I said I could probably make it to and didn't. And as for the event that Miss Doris held for me at the library, I told Miss Doris before, that I think I'm going to be late for this because I'm going to be up in near Wisconsin border at 2 different events that I'm going to run in, run out, speak at those events, then head all the way down. I think I was up at Waukegan and Zion or something like that. Like it was way up there, past Six Flags, right? And then I ran down to 63rd Street, right? And traffic was terrible. And I was on the phone with them the entire time. Like I see this sign, right? On the highway. So how far am I? It says I'll be there in 40 minutes or whatever the case may be. And I came into the room after those events, after all that travel, and I handled business. I answered the questions. I engaged with people. We had a very good conversation. Then it became, well, I was late to the event and I didn't take them seriously. Like, it just seems like the football kept moving and the reasons for the switch up kept moving. And then I noticed these people who have been speaking staunchly against our repair and against me as a candidate who's spoken positively about our repair were getting all this attention and passes. And how do you go from supporting repair and if you ain't for reparation, then we don't want to talk to you, to not only talking about it less, but to the point that the community is reaching out and saying, why aren't they talking about this anymore? But you're also credentialing people who not just don't talk about it, but they've actually spoken negatively about it publicly. And they're trying to sabotage my campaign by their own words because I've spoken positively about it. So for me, it was about principle, in addition to the fact that when you make a commitment based on principle, you should stand by it. Yes, you get to choose to renege on that and backpedal on that if you choose to, but then also people get to call you out about it, is how I feel. And again, it's not about anybody necessarily endorsing me or anything, but Jeannie Evans was put up by people who specifically came after me because I support our repair. Right. And if you're saying you're down for it and that's it and that's all, how do you support someone who's backed by people who are specifically against it? It just doesn't align with principle to me.
And Martin, the Republican Party did the same things that the Democratic Party does. When we have a credible candidate that's going to represent our issues and talk to us about tangibles, they did exactly what the Democratic Party does. They caused division and confusion amongst us. And that's really bothersome to me, because I knew what was behind it. I knew what was going on. And we cannot allow these people to continue to do that. For the first time in my life, I pulled a Republican ballot because I'm following the agenda that I thought we were all on. We're going to flip Chicago red, flip the state, or wherever. If someone is running as a Republican in this state, in this city, that is going to be addressing tangibles as they pertain to us. So they played the same game that the Democrats do. The Democrats don't mean us any good, and the Republicans don't mean us any good. And I'm not going to suggest that we support these people when I know the games that they were playing. They deliberately did this.
Yeah, I want to say something else too. Thank you, Ms. Doris, for that. And that's the other thing, Martin. Like, I didn't come, so I could have, but this ain't me, obviously. I could have come in this backpedaling. Yeah, I don't support reparations. I take back the things that I said before, but that ain't me. I stand on what I believe in. And I didn't run on reparations as part of my platform because I wanted to offer something that I believe is truly doable. I didn't want to sell smoke, right? And so I believe that the lineage-based reparations, lineage-based investment is actually doable because 8 out of 10 Republicans who listened to me explain it to them, who looked at the graphic, were like, yeah, this actually makes sense. And we'll sunset it. Let's be efficient about it. Let's get it done. Let's change people's family tree, right? And get the thing done. The other thing I wanted to say is I got messages from people who had voted the couch, who said they voted for the first time in a long time because of my candidacy. I had a young woman reach out to me, 33 years old, who hadn't voted since Obama. Who voted for me because she'd been watching my campaign and the podcast that I had been doing. I have Republicans, white or Democrats, white and otherwise, say, I listen to what you say. You make so much sense. I can't pull a Republican primary ballot, but if you make it past the primary, I'm definitely voting for you. Right. So those are people who believed in what was being offered from a policy perspective, and 53,000 votes, once again, for somebody who folks didn't really know, is really and considering all that I was up against, is a good thing. And there are people around the country, including folks in DC, who've reached out to me. There are county chairmen who've reached out to me since then as well. So yeah, it is what it is. And I think there are some people who told me they voted Republican and the people at their polling place was treating them funny. Like, you sure you want that? Like, you sure you want the Republican ballot? You know you can change your mind and all this kind of stuff. Like, so there's a lot that goes behind this when you look at the numbers. But overarchingly, and this is policy analysts and people who are deep into policy and politics telling me the 53,000 that you got, considering what was going on with your campaign and these people coming after you like that, is really remarkable. And I accept that.
Martin, I had problems here in the Newport where I live. We vote, we vote here in the building. I had problems getting a Republican ballot. There was a Democratic judge who was very openly nasty to me, refused to take some of the information that I was supposed to give to her. I mean, it was an altercation. This was a Democratic judge. And there was an election coordinator who had to intervene. I'm going to be filing a complaint with the Chicago Board of Elections. I've talked to 3 of my friends who asked for a Republican ballot where they voted, and they went through the same things. So the Democrats talk about the Republicans doing this and that. They are both the same when it comes to us trying to advance ourselves and speak up for what we want for our people. They both get in our way. They both throw obstacles in our path. They are the same. And I will not support any party who is not going to, as I said, bring tangibles for my people. I am for my people. I am Black American first. I do not apologize for it. I am going to be calling people out if they do things that I think is to a disadvantage of our people. I'm not blaming anyone for her not winning. I'm just upset because I saw where we could have made a difference. We have the numbers, and we've got to stop these people from using us. They're using the Republicans and the Democrats are using that black vote to advance everybody's agenda but a black agenda. They're fighting for the illegal immigrants. Everybody. No one is talking about what they're going to do for black people. All you hear them saying, I'm going to stop Trump. How? How? What make that make sense to me? But you want us to vote for you. I'm not going to stand by and watch my people being used by these people. I don't care if they're Democrat or Republican. I don't care if they're white or black. It doesn't matter to me. It's about justice, economic empowerment, political empowerment, social empowerment for us. Everybody else is seeking it. So when we push for it, when we ask for it, when we demand it, it's something wrong. It is human nature for you to look out for your own. Everybody does it. But when we do it, it's a problem. And they throw all the obstacles in our way that they can possibly throw.
And I have a question, ladies. What is it that we can do to repair this just before the election? All this just start coming out. Stuff just confusion just start coming out, just coming out, coming out, coming out. And it's like we're being divided. You know, this platform is a platform of Democrats and Republicans, you know, and I'm just for truth. That's what I'm for. You know, I believe in black Republicans. I believe in black Democrats. Now, we should have on both sides. That's just me. This is my personal opinion. I'm not putting this on anybody. So what I'm saying is, as long as we're being divided, going at each other's throat, what's the next? What's next? What are we going to do? Because we're going to have.
I'm happy to answer that.
Come on, Pam.
I'm happy to answer that.
Yes.
So for me, and what I've said is it's policy over party. It is policy over personality. And that is what is important. And when I came on your show and the many other podcasts, the CBS Chicago that I was on, the other interviews that I had, the quotations and the Sun-Times and all of that, it was always about policy. And I think people need to take elections more seriously. We could have, as Black Americans, could have easily won this Republican nomination. Easily. There were, on the Republican side, a dismal showing of voters. And even on the Dem side, I think it was like 500,000-600,000. That's nothing. There's like 8 million registered voters in the state of Illinois. Black Americans could have won this Republican nomination for a tangible that 8 out of 10 Republicans agreed on easily. Most of my voters were white people from across the state. So they followed up. They came out. Now, there were definitely Black folks in Chicago because people were texting me, calling me, and all the things, right? And other parts of the state who voted for sure. But most of my voters were indeed white people.
Wow.
In rural America. And again, when you look across those 102 counties, and how I showed it up in those counties, I think there was only one where I came in last. And there were other people who came in after me. There was one where I came in second. I mean, it's just, we could have easily won this. I think we need to quick answer. We need to take elections more seriously. When someone shows up with something specific for your lineage and your group, you need to actually lean in and look seriously at that person. You get occasional shots to win elections. This was an opportunity like no other. It was an off-season election, meaning it wasn't a presidential election. I was a candidate running for the first time, but I have a long record of advocating for all Americans first policy and Black Americans in particular, specifics for us. And it was an open Senate seat, and the Senate can do a lot for people around the country because there's only 100 of us. And I know how to handle myself with an adversary, let's say, an opponent. And I won all of the debates that I participated in, to the point where even the campaign manager, de facto campaign manager for the guy who ultimately won, had to acknowledge multiple times that I did very, very well. And it was clear to everyone that I had the best policies, that I presented myself best, and that I knew how to handle myself. It was truly some people with different perspectives and emotional reactions. Emotionality seems to be a big problem around my advocacy for Black Americans. But you could have offset that, because there's 1.8 to 1.9 million Black people in Illinois.
And Martin, we're gonna, just to echo back on what she said, we're going to have to come with an agenda, talk about, base it on issues. I'm not a personality person. I'm an issue and policy person. And you know, I've been on your show many times, and that's all I talk about. I'm not interested in the personality. I'm interested in the issues and the policies that are going to impact us. When I did not know Desmond Yancey. He's the alderman of the 5th Ward. His office called because they were looking for volunteers. And so I agreed to volunteer for him. But before doing so, I asked to meet with him. Sister Erica and I put together an agenda, a contract for Black Chicago 2023. We asked to meet with him. We did meet with him in Hyde Park here at Messler. We presented him to that agenda. He agreed, and he said that he would advance it, because we said, you can introduce this as an ordinance in the city council. He assured us that he would do it. However, he went back on what he said. Another thing, if I had known he was an immigrant, I never would have voted him, because the immigrants are only here to advance the agenda for immigrants, legal and illegal. And so when he took his first vote down in the city council for I think it was $70 million they were voting on for illegal immigrants, we begged him. We literally begged him, do not vote for this. You are just getting into the city council. Make your own history down here. And his response to me, well, if I don't do it, they're going to weaponize me. And ever since that day, I have been his biggest opponent, his biggest enemy. And if I have anything to do with it, if Doris Lewis has anything to do with it, he will not get back in that office. And that's what we have to do. When they say and commit themselves to doing something for us and they don't do it, we need to take them out. We cannot spend another 50 years talking about giving these people a chance, because no one else gives them a chance. So these are the conversations that we're going to have. Agenda first, not race first. Not because you look like me first. That does not work anymore. Not for me, never has, but it certainly does not work for us collectively as a people. So to end whatever division or whatever is going on, we have to come together around issues. We got to think about us as a people and the future of our children, as I have always said. So that is how we can start healing and doing what we have the power to do for ourselves. We don't have any other choice.
Beautiful, beautiful. I learned so much from you, Mama Doris, and you and Erica, and even Dr. Long. Just listen to you guys, and even tonight, it's a lot of confusion going on amongst the Republicans, and I'm wishing that you guys probably can work some out. And I agree, policy first. That's the number one thing. All this other emotional stuff, personal attacks, we ought to put that down. And we got to get focused, get back focused, because there's other big fish out there that we're going to have to fry. And when we're divided,
and I will say,
go ahead, Mama Doris.
The Republican Party has used them. They mean well, But the Republican Party has used them and they have manipulated things. And this is where that racism comes in. That's what they do, Democrats and Republicans. And we have to recognize that. I know it because I read it, I study, and I'm older. And that's what I say to young people. I went to a meeting tonight of some lawyers and judges, a lot of them young lawyers. And this is the conversation that I had with them. They recognize it. We have to recognize the big elephant in the room. We've got to, because that elephant is keeping his behind on our necks and keeping us from moving. They have used them, and I told them.
And you know,
I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead, Ms. Phillips. I'll say what I was going to say. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
go ahead, Pam, if you want to say something. Okay. My thing.
Yeah, I do.
Go ahead, Doc. Go ahead.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so here's the deal.
You on fire
Politics
tonight.
is going to happen too.
Right.
Politics is going to happen. It's either going to happen with you, you're going to drive it, or it's going to happen to you. This fatalism in the Black community, like, oh, it don't matter, it don't matter. Keep telling yourself that. Politics is going to happen to you. And when you have someone running who is representing your interests, who is having an open door. I've had white people call me from everywhere. I had a Haitian girl call me because she's aware of the lineage-based conversation. I can't remember where the woman called me from, Florida or something like that. She heard me on a podcast and she was asking me about unity and what does it look like to honor the legacy of Black Americans when immigrants come here, and how could I be, helpful in making sure that unity happens with immigrants who are able to recognize the lineage of our people and all of that kind of stuff. All kinds of people call me all the time to ask me stuff. People reaching out to me on my website to ask me stuff. Politics is always happening. You have to be involved. Otherwise, you are going to be forgotten about. You don't count if you don't vote. And people going to roll over you. There are people literally, you should learn this from Biden, right? There are people swimming through the Rio Grande and fighting with law enforcement officers at the border to get in here. They are coming here for their own interests. If this is the country that your people built, you need to be willing to claim it. And if you ain't gonna run, then you need to get behind the people who are looking to have your back at those seats of power where decisions are made about this country, about your community, about this nation, when it comes to appropriations, when it comes to policies and the like. You have got to be involved. And I'm going to say it, this was a missed opportunity of epic proportions, considering how much effort was put into it. Thousands of miles, many, many trips, thousands of flyers, many, many conversations, many yard signs, many interviews, many events that I've been to in Chicagoland. So the folks down south was like, you good, go up there. They need to hear from you, right? So you just got to be involved. This ain't the last election that's going to happen, but this was a significant opportunity that was a low threshold to winning. If you can win a nomination by 212,000 votes, that's wow. Black Americans, there are 1.8 to 1.9 million Black Americans in the state of Illinois. We could have won this easily. And it's not the number of people who've heard my voice, the number of people, Black Americans who've heard my voice, who've read my Newsweek column, who follow me on Twitter X, they've been in my spaces, they've been on this program listening to me talk, they heard me on Afro Elite, not to mention another podcast, but they've heard me on his show, they've heard me on the Hill TV, they saw me on wherever, whatever. You've got to be so engaged to recognize an opportunity when you see it and not let it pass you. And this was a missed opportunity of epic proportions.
And you know what, Martin?
Yes.
Chicago Flips Red brought more attention to the Republican Party than anybody other than Donald Trump. And the reason he brings attention is because he's a Republican and the president. They have worked hard. And for them to not respect them, and not understand them supporting one of their own to the point of, I believe, discouraging them in every way possible. It was by design. They knew what they were doing. So no, don't go out and support Republicans who are not coming to you talking about tangible, and no Democrat, no independent, no anything or anybody. I'm tired of us thinking that they can use my people.
Mm-hmm.
I stand up for my people. When I've always fought for my people. Every job that I've been on, I've got fired for standing up for my people. I was with the Chicago Board of Education 37 years. They did everything they could to fire me. That teachers union, I went against them. But my record speaks for itself. I am for Black people first, always have been, and will be until I die. And will work and help anyone Black who is trying to do something.
Appreciate you. I mean, we moving forward, guys. What is it? Well, Dr. Long said it. We need to put policy over our personalities. That's what we need to do. We have to do that. We cannot afford to miss another perfect opportunity to get one of these power seats. And again, I said 2 parties and 1 system. Now, remember, people, no matter what side that we're on, a Democratic side or Republican side, we're fighting against a system that don't want to see Black people as a group to prosper. Now, I'm not saying that America is, you can't do anything, you can't make it in America. No, I'm not saying that. You can. But as a group, we need to win together. And the only way we can fight this system is to unify on policies and doing the right thing and being honest and get our personalities. I've worked with a lot of people that I didn't like, but it was a job that I had to do, and we had to get the job done. And we don't have to like each other in a lot of senses. I hate to use that term, but we have to get the job done. I'm standing for Black people, especially those that are intelligent, articulate, and want to see us win. It's not about the dollar. It's not. I could have sold out a long time ago, Dr. Long and Mama Doris. Could have sold out a long time ago. And we know some that sold out. Don't care if you can't, they'll talk this good talk behind private doors, but publicly they won't. I used to think like that. I don't think like that anymore. So people, we have to continue to fight this fight. And we cannot never again. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're right. And here's the other thing I like people to think on. So part of my campaign and why it resonated with so many people is that I was talking about constructive things. So I was talking about what we were going to do. When you look at my campaign website, which is longforsenate2026.com, LONGFOR Senate 2026.com, I was talking about policy and problem solving all the time. What I was going to do, how I was going to leverage the Senate to solve real problems. The legislation that I wrote about heirs property, family land and home equity protection, the veterans bill that I wrote, the original intent of birthright citizenship bill that I wrote, and the other things that I put together as well that I would have implemented and proposed for legislation. All of that was constructive to use the power not just to fight against, but to accomplish things for the American people, for Illinoisans, and of course for Black Americans as well, because there is a unique history that needs to be addressed. And again, 8 out of 10 Republicans that I spoke with understood that and agreed with it.
Martin, I took on the weight of Black Chicago because of this woman, because of her knowledge, because of her integrity, because of her tenacity. I took on the weight of Black Chicago. I went all day up into the night in pain, to get out literature. I didn't have time to wait for someone to tell me, well, I got to run to the store and I'll be right back and then I'll call you. Or I have to wash, I got to get some washing done. And no, if I'll call you when I get done. I didn't have time for that. This is just how serious this was to me. I was in pain, but I was thinking about my people and trying to get this seat for us because I knew we could get it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't
I want to
explain
just
how much pain I was in, but I was determined.
Doris worked
I
very
was
hard.
determined to keep going until that, until the last hour of the day. I took
Ms.
on.
Doris
I was
worked
doing the
incredibly
work
hard.
of my people in this city, trying to make up for the ones who, make up for what we could have done. That's how it affected me psychologically.
Yeah, I probably had anywhere from 10 to 20 volunteers. People had finite areas they would cover. The person who won had 15, according to him. Sometimes he said 10, whatever. But yes, people were working very hard. Ms. Doris put in a lot of work. And I just want to make it clear for the people in the back, I am not advocating that you follow anyone. What I am saying, I hope that, I don't know why that's not clear. I'm not saying go follow Republicans. What I am saying is you need to be engaged and find the person who's representing the policies that you want to see happen in the way and time and frame that you want to see them happen. I'm on here saying that there are people who are trying to tell you to vote down, like red all the way down the ballot, and then figure out what these people are going to do for you. And that sounds stupid to me. It sounds like usury to me. And that sounds like not what the people have been saying all these years that I've been involved with the activist community when it comes to politics. What they were saying is you need to offer something tangible before we decide to give a vote to you. That means you either bring an agenda for us to review and or you implement the agenda that we bring to you. You don't vote people into office without knowing where they stand on the issues that are important to you. And if somebody is talking to people and they're not asking those people, what are you going to do about this issue, this issue, this issue, and this issue? Then they are bringing you someone who they're probably trying to hide it. Do you think Jewish people are going to talk to an elected official and not ask them what they think about Israel? No one would expect a Jewish person to talk to an elected official and hide and allow an elected official to hide what they think about Israel. What are the issues that are important to Black Americans? And you need to be making sure that anyone coming to you as a spearhead or a connector or an advocate or a front man or woman or whatever to connect you to an elected official, if they're not mouthing your issues and asking that elected official specifically what their position is on it, that elected official is hiding their real intent from you because they're not addressing it. And the person who is stopping talking about your issues and bringing you someone who is not talking about your issues is a shill for whoever they are bringing to you. And I thought we were done with shills. I thought we were done with people who are bringing folks to us who aren't bringing specific policies. Maybe I'm wrong, because let me know. Am I wrong? Are we on that now? What's the deal?
That's deep. That is so deep. That's
a serious question. That's a serious question. Are we now accepting candidates who don't talk about their policies before we vote for them? Are we now so upset that we're going to vote for them no matter what, not knowing if they're going to be worse than the people we're voting out? That sounds politically immature, emotional, and reactive to me. And I thought we'd grown a little bit.
That's deep.
And that is why they show so much disrespect for us, because that is the way we behave. They get angry if we ask for tangibles, policies that are going to benefit us. They have taken advantage of that for the last 40, 50 years, and we have allowed them. And going forward, we cannot allow these politicians to keep doing what they're doing to us. And everybody is advancing economically, politically, educationally, but us. We have to stop them. And it's only us who can stop them. We only us, no one else. They're not talking about tangible. They're not talking about issues. Tell them to get away from you. Don't disrespect you, because they are totally disrespecting us. All of them, Black, white, Republicans, Democrats, Asians, everybody, because we continue to allow it. As I've said on this program, it is not about me. I could be down in Destin, Florida someplace.
Beautiful.
I heard that. And so I want to just be clear. I want to be clear. I've been a Republican since 2008. I am an independent-minded, grown-ass woman. I'm 53 years old. I vote for who I want to vote for. When a candidate or an elected official in my party is tripping and acting off principle and doing things that are not aligned with American principles, making sure the Constitution applies to everyone, honoring Black American history and preserving it rather than restricting it, I call them out for that. And I've done that consistently. Beautiful. And I still got 53,000 votes, because when you look at my background, when you look at what I have said, I've called out everybody. Trump, people in his administration, Biden for the mass immigration, Kamala for being Black sometimes and Asian sometimes and flipping between the two. I called out people of color for coming over here and shoehorning into our legacy. I called out all the things, and I still got 53,000 votes with people who have more media, more name recognition. And I got that support from mostly white people reaching out for me from across this state and donating to me from across this country. So we have to be involved. We have to know how to win these elections. It is a numbers game. And if you don't show up because you fatalistic and you think it don't matter, then guess what? You just lost another one.
Okay.
And that's not just my election, it's general.
I have a question for both ladies. What is it that you guys think that we can do not to ever repeat this cycle, what just happened here with you, Dr. Long? You gave some answers, but just spell it out to us, Mama Doris. One of you guys, what is it that we can do collectively to not to ever let this happen again? And like you said, Dr. Long, this was a perfect opportunity. Go ahead.
So here's the thing. Stop thinking. So I get the collective. I get it. But here, act like everything depends upon you. You get involved. You do the research. You look at a candidate when they show up. You see if they're talking about your issues. You tell your friends about what you found. You share their social media posts. You make sure you're registered to vote. You make sure that the people around you ask them, are you registered to vote? This candidate is talking about bop, 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 and boo. The election day is this day. Early voting starts. You be engaged, and you charge the other people around you to be engaged, and you share the information as well. And that's how the social contagion becomes a collective, is when every individual takes ownership of their part in the outcome.
You know, Martin, it reminds me of the movie Akeelah and the Bee. Everyone in that community get involved in her success, get involved in her winning that spelling bee. Everyone in the community. They did whatever they could. Somebody on the sidewalk would call out a word. Or somebody in the barber shop. Everyone took responsibility for her becoming a winner. And as Dr. Long has said, that is what we're going to have to do. And we can do it. And it doesn't take a whole lot to do it. It doesn't take a whole lot. It just takes you being concerned about your plight in life, where you want to be, where you want your family to be, what you want for your children. Start right in your home and ask your family, what do we want for each other? What do we want for our children? Then go about the business of doing what you need to do. If your neighborhood has trash all over, then take responsibility. Even if it's one person, it will catch on. But we have to take responsibility for our lives and our plight in this world. No one is going to do it. Stop sitting around waiting for somebody else to do it. If the neighborhood is dirty, let everybody get involved. We've got to clean house. That's how we have to think, because it is really about our survival. Because these people are coming into this country, and the government of the United States, Republican and Democrats, are making it possible for them to be successful at our expense. Stop giving away our culture. Stop people from co-opting our culture. I just mentioned the Somalians down there on Edmunds Pettus Bridge talking about they're going to take it, they're going to advance it. No, that is not your legacy. It has nothing to do with you. And we must call these people out. No, we're the only people who let people come in and co-opt our history, our culture. We're letting people, Africans, play Sojourner Truth, Harriet Tubman. No, we want Black Americans playing that role because it's about our experience. It is not about an African's experience. It's about Black Americans' experience. So let's stop these people from using these other people to play our role, to take over our culture. Don't go to the movie. When you see it's about Black Americans and they've got a Nigerian playing the role, don't go. Then you do the same things with when it comes to politics. We've got to have these discussions every day. Every day we need to have these discussions. Because if you throw up all 26 of the alphabet and let them fall down, whichever one you catch, if it's C, you can talk about criminal justice. If it's E, you can talk about education. If it's P, you can talk about politics. If it's G, you can talk about government. It's not hard to do. But you got to get involved and take responsibility for yourself. And then it grows to the collective. It's not hard to do. And as Dr. Long mentioned, get rid of that fatalistic attitude. Don't just accept somebody's no answer when you know it can be yes. You question them. We can do that.
Wow. This is something. Ladies, it's been a long night, and I'm just thinking, what do we do to move forward? And we have to continue to push the Black agenda as well as the America agenda as well. I believe in that as well. And if not, we're going to wake up one day and it's Black people, we're going to be in the back seat. Definitely going to be in the back seat. And it's not.
We are already straddling it.
Yeah, we straddling
it.
It's
our government. It's our government. We don't have another government. It's our country. I don't have another country. So when somebody tells me where you can leave, I'm not going in the place. My ancestor built this one. Why am I going to leave all this luxury that my ancestor built and go someplace and struggle? Why? It doesn't make any sense to me. This is my country. My people built it. Black Americans. And everybody is in here eating off our plates and won't say thank you. Claim it, people. It's ours. The bad, the good, and the ugly. Let's try to make it better for us. And when we make it better for us, we make it better for everyone. But we must make it better for us first. Because that's what everybody else is going to do. So that's how we can fix this. That's how we can resolve this. Come to talk about issues.
and
policy.
solutions, right?
Yeah.
We
So
didn't
we don't-
talk
yeah.
about the problems.
Right.
We didn't
Yeah.
talk about the problems so long. There are people
Oh.
on Twitter who will spend 8 hours talking about the problem. We know the problems.
Thank you.
Let's talk about the solution.
That's right.
Let's
Yeah.
form a policy for the solution and whatever level that needs to happen, be it a community level, like what Miss Doris is talking about. Pick up your trash,
Mhm.
right? Take care of your neighborhood. If it's talking about the local government level, vote the mayor out because of the shit that he's doing. If it's the federal or state level, what's the policy that's going to be implemented? And you have to have people who are committed in those seats of power. And look, I don't know about y'all, but I'm not expecting an easy ride. I wasn't expecting an easy ride to become U.S. Senator. I wasn't ever expecting everybody to be like, that scene from the Titanic where they open a door and everybody's welcoming you with a red carpet. Let's be serious here. But we come from fighters. Are you kidding me? We come from fighters. I'm a 7th+ generation American. I don't give a damn what these people think about me speaking well. They say it all the time. You speak well, yes. And the reason people are resonating with me is not just that I'm articulate. It's because the policies that I have and I'm able to explain them in a way that resonates with them. And I've developed policies that resonate with people, right? Like, I don't care what people call me. It's what you answer to. And the goal was for them to be able to say, Senator Long, who's representing all Americans and Black Americans as well. That's the goal. I ain't no punk, so I don't care about they think this about Black people and they think that about. And so what's new?
Mhm.
So now we supposed to do what? Not run for office? Really? Yeah, I ain't built like that.
I knew you wasn't no
And
punk.
I grew up in Jim Crow South, the land of the Klan. And I stood up then, and I'm still standing. When it comes to Black people and injustice against my people, I'm not that's my DNA. And I use that picking up trash all the time as an example because I'll never forget Dr. Frances Cress Welsing was on WVON. That's been over 40 some years ago. And they asked her, Dr. Welsing, how can we fight racism and white supremacy? And she said, just by going outside and picking up the paper in front of your house. That lets them know that you are about something and you value yourself and you are important. You couldn't get any simple than that.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Beautiful.
So that's how we can start.
Beautiful. 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 Guys, I have to ask you guys a question now. What are we going to do about all these posts I see cutting each other's throat and down talking, down playing? And I don't like it. 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 People, if you with this group, I'm with you. If you ain't with this group, I don't like it. Let's get some policy. Let's get, like Dr. Long says, let's get some solutions. What are some solutions? That's what we need. That's what we need, some solutions. And it reminds me of the Democrats. Every Democratic person was screaming, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump. Okay, give us some solutions. What about Donald Trump? Donald Trump is not in the state of Illinois. He's not in the city of Chicago. He is not running Chicago politics at all. At all. And if we can call Democrats out, we can call Republicans out as well. And some people get mad when we call these party people out. We have to call them out, and we have to insert our agenda in these policies, both sides. And I've always said, Dr. Long and Mama Doris, whatever side you guys decide to be on, please have a Black agenda and push for a Black agenda. Please do. Do me that favor. And I got your back. Trust me. I got your back. And you're welcome on this platform anytime. It's not about the money. It's about the policies. Let's push it, people. And I understand people going to tell. Go ahead, Doc. Go ahead, Doc.
Oh, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm
No,
so
but it's okay.
sorry.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, and see, here's the other thing. talking is great. So now talking is name recognition. Oh, there's a guy running for Congress in my district. Okay, there's more to do after that. Connect with that person on their website, donate to their campaign, volunteer to get the word out, share their platform, make sure you're registered to vote, tell other people about them and say, check out this person and see if you can vote. Follow up with people. It's active. You have to be actively engaged in order to win these types of things. So again, the conversation, the awareness on the platform, the interview is just the beginning. Literally, it's just the tip of the iceberg. The rest is getting in there and doing the work that I just described. And the voting is a culmination of that awareness that started with the conversation. But the conversation ain't all of it. Conversation is just the tip of the iceberg.
Appreciate you. I had a show not too long ago, Mother Doris, you wasn't on it. I know Dr. Long, she heard a little bit of it. And I was asking, that's why we have a lot of politicians, when they get into office, we don't get anything. They don't risk their careers for us. They don't risk their job, their life, or nothing for us, Black people. I'm speaking to us Blacks now. Because we don't support. We don't support. We have to support people. And I found out in life, people that don't vote are the biggest complainers, the biggest whiners that don't vote. They're the biggest complainers. And we have to be careful, people. We have to stay humble. And when we allow people to elevate us, and we cannot forget where we come from. We have to help our people. We have to. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying give your vote away because a person is Black. But when you find a person such as Dr. Long that's not only Black, but is well qualified, overly qualified, there was no excuse at all, especially for us Black folks. And a fighter. Had us in mind. Had us in mind. You know, a lot of people
on Front Street.
Yeah, up front. And I always say this, ladies, forgive me for saying this, a prostitute know better. She gets her money up front. Some of us, we give up the goods and don't get nothing. And hopefully the person give us the money, give us something when we put them in. We can't continue to roll like that, people. On either side, on the Democratic side or the Republican side. We just can't hand our vote over and expect something without a demand. We have to demand, put it in writing or something. What is your agenda for Black people? We need to know that. How are you going to include us in your agenda, in your American agenda? Period.
Oh, and you know what? We've got to stop white people from playing games with us when it comes to us voting for one of our own. You shouldn't vote for someone because they're Black. You should vote for someone because they're qualified. Well, they vote for white people all the time who are not qualified. So we've got to stop them from playing these games with us. That's another thing they do. Don't let them play these games. Everybody wants to make us feel guilty. About what? We don't have anything to feel guilty about because we're saying we want people to do for us if we vote for them, and take these politicians out. It's time. I'm going to call out anyone. Yeah, I'm dissatisfied with the decision that Chicago Fifth Red made, and in this case, Zoe made in terms of supporting someone over Pam. Don't let people take over your organization and try to influence you to do otherwise. They wouldn't let you do it. It's your organization. You all made that organization. You all have worked extremely hard exposing the system. Take back your organization from these people. If they want your support, then they have to follow your agenda. Don't let them come in and give you an agenda. That's what these Republicans did. I don't like what they did because those ladies have worked hard. I applaud them. And you Republicans, you use them. And I don't like it.
Call
And
it
I
out.
will forever speak out.
You're supposed to. We
Yeah, Black Americans need to realize.
go ahead, Doc.
Go ahead.
No, I'm
Black
submissive.
Americans need to realize. Black Americans need to realize we're the main characters here. These people who are coming into our, regardless of party, they need our vote.
Absolutely.
That means that you need to be telling them what your vote is worth. For them, the vote is worth the job. But for you, the vote needs to be worth specific policy. And if you telling me that you ain't willing to give specific policy in order to get the job, guess what? You're fired. You're not even hired. That's how this is supposed to work from what I understood the community to be doing all of these years when they talked about no tangibles, no vote. When they talked about the down ballot strategy, whether you agreed with it or didn't, the point was you need to be bringing an agenda to us for us to review and approve, or you need to be adopting our agenda. That was what the social contract was supposed to be, to get the Black vote and for us to even come into a room.
Yeah.
To come into a room with you, it need to be about what the Black agenda is. Because otherwise, what we showing up for? For you to tell us that we need to vote for you for what? And I'm not saying don't vote, but what I am saying, voting is an exchange, right?
Mm-hmm.
My vote's for sale. Wasn't that the language people was using? Where
Mhm.
all that go all of a sudden? Are we that desperate, really? Because
Mhm.
you're going to hire people and you don't know what they going to do, but you want to get rid of some other folks and you already know what they're doing. I don't know how you make that decision.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you decide blindly on replacing the devil you know for a devil that you don't.
Mm.
And look here, and a devil that you don't know who you already should know, because look at what they did. They put up this woman, they had no political bona fides, that was stumbling all over herself for most of the campaign, put up by a man who was specifically talking about me, putting an X across my face on my flyer and posting it. Don't sign her signature. She's not a real Republican. I've been a Republican since 2008, and I believe on those words in Washington, D.C., where it talks about 2 score. And how many years ago? That was my people. So I get to decide who's a goddamn Republican more than anybody else gets to.
Mm-hmm.
You already have the receipts on who these people are based on how they showed up in this election.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to go into a room with them out of desperation? Baby, please remember who you are. You're the main character. They want your vote. They need your vote, all of them, in order to win statewide. And certainly to win the districts where you're the majority.
That's right.
And hell yeah, you should show up to vote. And vote for them if they're giving you what you want. And look at their record, because you know they're liars. Have they said anything against your priorities before they were running or while they were running? And you think that they ain't gonna do that when they get in? Have they said anything for your priorities? Or have they been hiding? You ain't found nothing about your priorities. You better ask them up front.
That's right.
Mm. This is a deep conversation, people. This is a very serious
Well,
conversation.
all I can say is that I was fighting for us,
Mm-hmm.
fighting to get Dr. Pamela Denise Long in for us, specifically, that was going to benefit everybody in the state of Illinois and the United States of America. That's all I was fighting for.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. That's all I know to fight for. If I'm going to be in this arena, I don't know anything else.
Mm-hmm.
I was fighting for us, to empower us, to help those women who've been fighting and highlighting the Republican Party more than the doggone Republican Party and did themselves. They brought attention to the Republican Party. How dare you? How dare you disrespect them that way? I know what you did. I know what you did, and you devils won't get away with it. Like Dr. Long said, you need our vote to win. So the Republicans need to make up in their minds. Do they want to win with our votes and bring us some tangibles? Or do they want to BS us and try to win our votes without any tangibles? Well, I'm here to say you will not win. And we need to send the same message to this damn Democratic Party, because I'm fed up. I am fed up with these people using my people. And look at our condition. We're in worse condition now than we were 65 years ago. Our neighborhoods are shambled, disintegrated, bringing everybody else into our neighborhoods and giving them the resources that they need to make it. Taking our tax dollars, taking care of illegal immigrants. Talking about we want a better future for our children. Well, we want a better future for Black children. And we are going to have to be the ones to make that decision. Get up and do what we are supposed to do. Stop complaining. Get rid of the fatalistic attitude and take back your power. We have the power.
Beautiful. 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 I mean, this show has been, nothing but love, explanation, and all that. We had to call some things out, and not only just in our own personal lives, people. We have to step the game up. We have to step our game up, and we should never miss an opportunity. Like Dr. Long said, we could have gotten this one. Just a little bit more unity, a little more harder push. It could have been ours. There's going to be other opportunities, but we have to take advantage of every opportunity. When we got the right person there with the right smartness, intelligence, and the boldness, no cowards. How many people that we've seen, Dr. Long, that get in office that's on fire, but when it comes to our policies that's going to benefit us, they get quiet. They just get quiet. They don't say anything else. We need representation.
How many more opportunities are we going to throw away?
Thank you.
How many more opportunities are we going to throw away?
That's right, Mama Doris. That's right. That is so right.
And the other thing I want to just say, and I'll reiterate this, you can't be willing to be bought.
Thank you.
You can't. If you gonna stand on principle, you need to stand on fucking principle. And if you need some groceries or something else, let the people know or whatever. But you cannot be willing to be bought, because I can tell you right now, from what I've seen across politics, and including this race, people will sell out because they are desperate. And these folks, Democrats and Republicans, are very used to buying off desperate Black people.
Wow.
Whether you're looking for a limelight or you're literally trying to keep your lights on, you're trying to pay your car note, these people are very, very aware of how easy it is to manipulate you because you're desperate and you're hungry.
Look at the money, Martin, that they put out in the community for the primary election. J.B. Pritzker put millions and millions and millions of dollars in our communities. J.B. Pritzker could not be governor of the state of Illinois if it were not for Black people. What is Juliana Stratton going to do? What are these people going to do? They've been in office how many years? What is Tony Pratt-Winkle going to do other than raise our taxes? What is Brandon Johnson going to do? All these Black faces. Yes, I'm pissed off. All these Black faces, Black aldermen, Black, 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 black. And look at our communities. Our children feel helpless and hopeless. All this crime, that stuff is engineered by policies. If you don't have a way to take care of yourself and your family, you're going to do whatever is necessary to do that. Self-preservation is the first law of nature. These organizations, Urban League, NAACP, individuals, Sharpton and the rest, I don't like these people. I never have. But these are the people who are fighting for everybody but Black people. I went to a meeting tonight of some judges and some lawyers, and this is what I brought to their attention. We need that legal arm to stand up for us, to go into these courts, to challenge these policies. These are Black people in these positions, and if they can't do it, we need to get them the hell out of office. It's just that simple. I think about what they did to me when I was with the Board of Education. They suspended me. I didn't get paid for 7 weeks. They didn't know how. They didn't know my financial condition because I stood up for Black children and Black parents. These people are violent. They're vicious. And these were Black people who did this to me. That Chicago Teachers Union. That is nothing but a gangster organization now. So I don't want anybody saying I supported Chicago Teachers Union and Karen Lewis and all those decisions she made that hurt our teachers. I don't care about Brandon Johnson. I don't care about Al Sharpton. I stopped supporting Reverend Jackson when he went to the rainbow stuff. I don't care about these things because I am only concerned about Black folks. If Black folks don't eat, I don't care if anyone eats. I make that very clear. And that's how we are going to have to start thinking about our survival. Stop letting these people play these games with us. We could change this in one election. A clean sweep. One thing I like about what Chicago Plus Red did, they went throughout the community showing all of these political signs and you abandoned buildings. And this one is running. Burn down buildings. Neighborhoods look like a bomb has been dropped and all you see these signs with Black politicians running. Yeah, those women did the work. But I am disappointed. I am hurt. And I don't care who does not like it because it's not about me. It's about us as a people. I don't know how many more times I have to say this. Like I said, I could be in Destin, Florida, laying up on that pretty white beach and looking at the beautiful water of the Gulf of Mexico. But I'm still fighting. I'm fighting for the future of our children. And I mean, it's no more I can say. It's no more I can say.
Okay. Well, thank you, ladies. I appreciate you guys for coming on here tonight, and we upset some people
Thank you,
tonight.
Martin.
No problem. We upset some
Thank you,
people
Martin.
tonight. You're welcome.
And I hope that the family is listening. The family can hear my passion
Mm-hmm. Yes, we
and the
do.
love I have for my people, because I want us to be better, do better.
All right. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much. I
Thank you guys
appreciate
so
you,
much.
Martin.
Thank you so much,
Bye-bye.
people.
Take care.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys for coming on here tonight, and we've said something to clear some things up, get some understanding. And this show wasn't to dog no one. Trust me, people. Y'all know what type of platform I run. If I have a problem with you, I'll call you straight out. But I try to give people the benefit of the doubt on this channel. You know, we have to work together, and united we stand, divided we fall, people. We can't keep missing opportunities. We can't do it. We can't not keep doing that, people. I appreciate you guys for supporting this channel. We ruffled some feathers tonight. Some people gonna be mad at me, say they was mad at me, but that's okay. I still love you. I've had people leave this show for 8 months and they come back. You know, they ease their way back on in and I forgive them, and it's okay. It's okay. I don't have all the answers. I don't think no one here has all the answers. But we know what we know. The truth speaks for itself. And we have to be supportive of one another. And we have to give people their flowers while they're living. And one thing I can say about Mama Doris tonight, she spoke well of Chicago Flip Red, about their energy, the things they've done in the community and everything. She said that. And I appreciate that, Mama Doris. You know, might be a little division going on, whatever, but we can get over that. We can get past that. You know, the scripture says a man's talent will make room for him and bring him before great men. And that's what we have recognized, the talent of Chicago Flip Red. They have exposed a lot of things, and we don't want to overlook that. We don't want to overlook that. And Mother Doris is right there with them on the ground zero. On ground zero. But people, as individuals, we cannot afford, for the group's sake, to fall out with one another and go on a ugly campaign, smear, damaging people characters and stuff like that. We all have feelings. I have feelings. No one wants to be the butt of the joke. You know, people, we all have feelings. And that's why I'm real careful what I say. But sometimes the truth has to come out. We have to get the cancer out of the body, period. It's not about no one individual. It's about us. Our dear sister said that she could have freed more, only if they knew that they was a slave. And Mama Doris, we have to watch out for our elders and our young people. We have to do that. That's mandatory. We have to watch our language toward one another. You know? Yeah, we have feelings. We get upset. We cry. We hurt. A lot of us, we breaking bread together. We sit at dinner tables together, and now we're at each other's throat. That's not a good sign at all. And when we do things like this, people, the white people look, say, we got him. We got him. Look at him. We got him. We got him fighting each other. And we should be just like the bees. When you come out the one bee, the whole hive come after you. And I want to tell the white folks tonight that's listening to me, we may be inward fighting, but we're not going to allow you to come in. And then when you come in against us, one of us, we're going to all bind up and turn right on you. And that's how it should be. That's how it should be, people. Family members fight. But when an outsider comes in, then they bind together like nothing never happened and push the outsider out. And that's what I want to see happen. We're going to have disagreement. This is not going to be the only disagreement that we have amongst each other, Democrats and Republicans. But we got to get through it. If we want policy, real policy for our people, this is what we're going to have to do. I love Mama Doris. I got her back. I love Chicago Flip Red. I got their back. But we got to call, when something is not right, we have to call it out. And we have to repair that. And we're in a fight, people. This is a fight. This is not about Martin Johnson. This is not about Zoe or Mama Doris or Dr. Long. It's about our race, our existence here. That's what it's about. I remember a situation I had to humble myself, swallow my pride, and get in line. And that's what a lot of us have to do when it comes to the human race, to the Black race. We have to swallow our pride, sit down, humble ourselves for the race's sake, for the body's sake. I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to hold my peace. I'm not going to entertain no confusion as much as I want to, but I'm not, for the body's sake. When I say the body's sake, referring as the race, the Black race. That's all I'm saying, people. I love y'all. I love all my Black people. Some of y'all don't even know I love yourself. Can't stand yourself. But I love you. And I want us to do better because we can do better. We are a great people. I believe Dr. Long, I might not say it the way she said, but we the stuff in so many words. They want our vote. And our vote matters. It's shrinking, but it still matters. Because if they didn't want our vote, they wouldn't even come in our community and ask for it. Now they're trying to get around us, but it's not working. They have to come to the Black community and get our vote, people. And we have to have our demands. We have to, people. We just can't vote for somebody and pray and hope that they do right by us. We've been through that all the time. We've been through that for a long time. Period. It's real. And I'm talking to every Democrat tonight. When you see something ain't right, you got to call it out. Any Republican, when you see something in your party, you have to call it out. Period. We're witnessing illegal immigration right now, getting all the funds, have not put no blood and sweat in this country at all. And Black folks, we at each other's throat. We fighting for crumbs, policies. It's real, people. This is real. Black people, we have to do better. We have to do a better job than when it comes down to real policy, sticking together and fighting together. Time out for electric slide and time out for a car show and this event and that event. We have to get some real policies on for our people. Mama Doris said it. I'm concerned about the grandchildren, our children that's coming behind us. Why you think these white people still run things from the grave? Because their policies is in place. These folks been dead hundreds of years ago, these slave masters. But their policy is still living on right now. And we have to line up to them because we're afraid of change. We have to fight for change, people. That listen, no one is going to hand us anything. We have to fight and demand and be willing to die for what we want, people, at all. We can't operate in this fake pain. We be upset for 2 weeks. Then after 2 weeks, everything back normal again. No, we got to fight. We got billionaires. We got corporations. They buying elections. That's what they're doing. They're buying elections. And we see it, people. But our dear sister, Dr. Long, ran a grassroots campaign. And the majority of people that voted for her was white. Shame, shame, shame. And she had a Black policy for us, people. She included us in her American plan. She didn't forget about Black people. You have some politicians, they would not say Black unless they put brown with it. You have some politicians would dare say what I'm about to say. I love being Black. They wouldn't say it because they're too afraid of what the white people think of them. So I want to thank Mama Doris, Dr. Long for coming on here tonight, clearing up some things. You know, I don't have a dog fight in this, but I want us to do what's right by each other. And I had a motto like this. It's a lot of people that I don't get along with personally. But guess what? They stay on their side, I stay on my side. And we have to be careful of the dog that bring the bone, because the dog that bring the bone will take one back. And that's real talk. So they know they can't bring me a lot of garbage. I'm not accepting it. I want some change, some policy change. I'm learning about this political thing. I'm 57 years old, and I'm very illiterate to a lot of things when it comes to politics. And I'm learning, people, and I'm not afraid to say it. I'm not afraid to say it. I'm learning. And I'm going to continue to learn. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you. Already know what it is. It's live. You already know what it is. Live, uncut, unedited. Tell the truth and shame the devil. What? I love being black. Thank you guys so much. Peace out. Share the video. Share the video. If you like this video, like and subscribe. Make sure you share the video. Thank you so much.